Welcome back, rivals. This is Xonia, and you are in the zone. It's been a while, and it's good to be back and see you all here again. So, let's cover some of the latest new bloods. We're 2 weeks behind right now, so first let's take a look at Mo, El Cusco, Gonzo, and Blaine. So up first, we have Mo, the 3-star from Hive. She's 6'2", with -5 op life, -5. Originally released in packs, specially ahead of time, and then came out later again. Overall, as a 3-star with 7 damage, that's really good. 6 power is a little bit low. And with all of that damage being in minus life, it means that she's not susceptible to DR. However, with a high min of 5, it means that she's pretty much stuck in early rounds. So overall, I think compared to the other 3-star cards that you're going to find, like Gemini or Mio, Nameko, Nebula, or even Ram, basically, as a common, really she's not going to be anything special. She'll be really good for doing a lot of damage and getting around DR early, which is exactly what you would want in an early round DR, so she has that going for her. You want something that is kind of immune to that. However, it's also going to make her very manipulative via SOA, and so you're really going to have to look out and make sure you use her just perfectly. That's my mic, and that's my daughter. So overall, what I would say for Mo is that as long as you can avoid the trouble of SOA in the early rounds, she'll do just fine, but with a min of 5, it's not the kind of card that you're going to want to depend on later on in the rounds, and when she's stuck to one round, it means the rest of your cards are stuck to other rounds, which makes your play much more predictable. So if you're looking for a card that's going to restrict play, then Mo is your card. If not, then she won't be. Up next, we have El Cusco, the 2-star uncommon from Hurricane. At 6'3", those are pretty good stats for a 2-star. Obviously 6 power is not amazing, but 3 damage is quite good. Growth attack +2 doesn't really help that much when it comes to a clan like Hurricane with their +1 attack per life left. However, it is going to mean that he does still have some attack later if you do decide to use him later. However, ultimately, there just isn't a lot of synergy between his ability and his bonus, and so because of that, I think that you're going to be able to do much better with your other cards in the clan, like even Derby Queen, DR cards like El Papagalo in order to keep things in order. I think El Cusco does have that extra damage, which might seem a little tempting, but there are much better cards, and especially with the recent release of Noctazumama, if you're really going to go for something that works like that, I would definitely say that Noctazumama will do you much better than anything else. So I would stay away from El Cusco and definitely not recommend him as a super card. However, he may be very good for some of you newer players. Up next, we have the 3-star rare from Roots named Gonzo. At 8'1", with victory or defeat +2 life, you can see this kind of pattern coming in where there's very low damage, but it works either way on a win or a loss, and very high power, which kind of makes it a little more balanced. This is kind of, I guess, an attempt to be a little bit more balanced as compared with an old 8-4 card that did end up going CR, Nudile CR, with no ability whatsoever. Gonzo has a little less damage, so it's not going to be banned like Nudile CR was, but it also has that bonus in case it loses as well. We're starting to see this really big kind of emphasis on the DR and the plus life and the win or loss in Roots right now. And unfortunately, this kind of does seem to be leaving Roots with these rare cards that are actually, well, I guess honestly quite underwhelming in some ways, at least for a lot of the Roots players. Because Nudile CR was actually a common card, and 8-4. And this Gonzo is a rare, and so you would think at least it would have been nice if it was 8-2 or victory or defeat +3 life. Regardless, it does seem to be a little bit lacking, and honestly, I don't know if I can really recommend it over a lot of the other 3-stars in the clan, but Gonzo is definitely a card that can be good for a win or a loss, and with his high power, it does make it easy to win the round. So if you're looking for a 3-win round kind of thing with Roots, which is quite difficult to do most of the time, but you never know, it is possible if you have the right cards and you get a little lucky. It's really kind of turning Roots into this, you have to win 3 rounds, kind of like the Piranhas used to be, at least. And so that's our 3-star Gonzo right now. I just can't really recommend him, but if you've got some time later, try and pick him up. And then finally, we have our 5-star Blaine, the uncommon for La Junta at 8-5 with Stop Op ability. This is definitely a mini general CR. He's a very good 5-star card, and with SOA, he's definitely going to be a great card in order to add to your collection. Obviously, SOA very strong with his +2 damage makes him an 8-7, which just makes him absolutely fantastic. And so because of that, Blaine is definitely a card you're going to want to pick up, definitely a card you're going to want to run, because SOA is always strong, his damage is going to get through, it's easy to do 5 damage with pretty much anything, including the 2 stars in La Junta. And so overall, what I would say is that Blaine is definitely going to be a strong 5-star card we're going to see a lot more of, and since he's much more balanced than General CR, he's probably not going to be banned quite as often, at least. So Blaine, an excellent 5-star card, probably the best card out of all of the ones for this time around. So for last week's release, Blaine definitely the best of the 4. Now, for this week's release, we have Marlin, Meredith, Scylla, and Surstorming, all of which look like absolutely amazing cards, and I really love the artwork on Marlin and Surstorming. So, let's take a look at these 4 cards and see how they measure up. Up first, for Riots, we have the 2-star common, Marlin. At 4-4, obviously not the greatest stats, but when you see that Confidence Power +5, this is another one of those confidence cards that is absolutely devastating, and if we ever get one of those kind of copy-op abilities, then it's going to be one of those cards you definitely aren't going to want to run in your deck for that reason. Anyway, but with +5 power, potentially getting to a 9-4, this is a very, very devastating card. It reminds me a lot of the 2-star in Raptors that has the same kind of crazy confidence plus power. A 9-4 is fantastic for a 2-star, but because it's confidence, because it's easy to see coming, I'm not so sure that it's necessarily worth it, but it is definitely a strong card, and in some situations, if you're running a damage-heavy Riots deck, you might actually prefer him over some of your other 2-star options. Even though there are a lot of other much more solid 2-star options, for example, Argos, or even Grouchy or Greedy, you've got better 2-star options there for you. Even Boomstock would be better, because you're going to be able to get that 8-5 and it's only Courage. So even though you would see it coming, you're going to see it coming a little less easily than Marlin. However, Marlin is a very strong one and one of the ones with the most damage, and definitely one that beginners may wish to run when you're looking to create your first Riots deck, however. Up next, we have Meredith, the 2-star uncommon from Rescue. Very strong card, 6-1 with power and damage +2. Getting to 8 power on a Rescue card is pretty serious business here, and then with 3 damage as well, definitely going to put it way up there, making the card even better than 2 stars that were very good for a long time, like Larry, which is support-based as well. Not that that really matters, because all of the cards are support-based in Rescue. However, with basically 8-3, you're definitely going to get a card that is very scary in the 2-star slot, and because it's got absolutely no conditional on it, it's going to be very, very strong overall. So basically, I guess all I would say is look out for SOA if you're going to run Meredith, but this is definitely one of those 2-star cards that you're going to want to consider putting in your deck. However, if you're looking for something even better, a card like Pierce, even though he's 6-3, with reprisal damage equals damage op, you're still going to have that chance of having a lot more damage on Pierce, which is really what you're going to want with your 2-star. There isn't a whole lot of 2-hit KOing going on in Rescue decks, unless you're playing in the T2 format. And so because of that, I can't say Meredith is like a sure lock for a 2-star card, especially since you're usually putting in a lot of your DR and other cards like Sue, for example, you know, one of the staples, absolutely. Also doing 3 damage with -1 power, making her essentially a 7-3 as a common. So, you know, there are other options out there for you, but Meredith is another good option if you happen to pull her instead of other Rescue cards while you're buying packs in the beginning of your play through. Then we have Scylla, the 4-star uncommon from Vortex at 7-5 with Equalizer -1 op damage -1. This is just another one of those absolutely devastating DR cards. Essentially the not exact same, but a lot like Ram. with a even lower min. That equalizer is just really going to help. However, it is a 4-star card, so the question is, do you think that it's worth pulling the position of another one of the 4 stars? And since you have a lot of other really solid, really good 4 stars to choose from, like Exodus, T-Gank, or even Sea Dusk, it's going to be hard. However, there isn't a lot of DR that's going on in Vortex right now, and so because of that, I would argue that she is going to become a lock for that position. However, whether or not you choose to use her as a DR is an entirely different thing, and because she has that 5 damage, she's still going to be able to connect with the 2-hit KO and put that pressure on exactly like you want to in the Vortex clan, and so I would say this is definitely one of the best releases this week, and for a while for the Vortex clan. So even though she's only an uncommon, definitely pick up Scylla before she exits packs. And then finally, our 5-star rare from Piranhas, the Nightmare, Surstorming. Wow, I don't even know what to say about this card. Essentially a 9/8 with SOB. Of course, the major downside here would be that versus SOA, he's a 9/1, which absolutely destroys him. This is the kind of Piranha's answer to the plus power clans like Uluwatu. This is also the answer to the other 9-power SOB Dragomir for Nightmare. Dragomir being able to do much more, and of course because he's kind of the new clan leader, I guess-ish at least. I guess Eileen is still technically the leader. Anyway, Surstorming is just, you know, he's the Kraken. You know, we've been asking for a Kraken for a long time, essentially, and this looks like our Kraken. Basically, with a 9/8, you really can't ask for anything more. Not going to be as good a card as Dragomir, because Dragomir is going to hold up better against SOA. He can swing a much larger life gap, even though he's got that maximum on his plus life gain. He's also going to be able to work, Dragomir is going to be able to work as kind of a defensive card as well, where Surstorming will not be able to. However, 9/8 with that min 1, that's the other downside. Min 1, so you can't KO with Surstorming. But regardless of that fact, 9/8 is no joke. Seriously, guys, like 9/8 with SOB is an absolutely horrifying card, and is even a card that can contend with the likes of Ymira. You know, and so because of that, Surstorming is going to be one of those cards that you definitely want to get a hold of. I love this card. I think it's a fantastic card. I think they've done just the right amount of kind of giving it a little bit of OP factor while also giving it kind of that crippling SOA issue. And honestly, though, unless you're going up against someone that's got 2 SOA in their hand, Surstorming just isn't going to really have to worry about that SOA, because unless you lead with him, you're going to have at least one round that you can choose to try and throw him at the opponent, and just hope that you don't have to go against a card with superior power manipulation, because otherwise that 9 power is going to basically make very, very short work of, you know, anything, even with a lot of the attack manipulation that's out there right now, even in the Skills clan with 9 power. That's just, it's hard to argue with that. So this is an excellent card, probably taking over one of the best spots, although there are a lot of very strong, very good 5-star cards. I don't know, you know, like Surstorming is at least going to be able to block the opponent, whereas Elizabeth would not be able to if she got hit with SOA, but Elizabeth would still be able to do more damage. I don't know, it's really, again, it's one of those trade-offs. Which do you think is more important to lose, essentially? And Surstorming is you'll lose all of your damage, as opposed to Elizabeth, which will be a little bit of both. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed these reviews. I think these new cards look really great. Definitely Surstorming and the Vortex card as well, Scylla, are the 2 highlights from this week's release. And then one more thing I'd just like to talk about really quickly here is Predator LD. Just came out with the next season of Arcade, 3-star Vortex LD, 8/4 Reprisal SOA. Reprisal SOA, finally another really good SOA card to go in Vortex. Reprisal's the best kind of thing to have on that. That 4 damage makes it impossible for him to do the 2-hit KOs as easily with a lot of the 5 damage cards, but that's good because then he would be a little too overpowered with SOA and the ability to do that 8 power. Absolutely fantastic card. I really recommend that you go ahead and play Arcade and get a hold of this card, because it is going to be worth your time for sure. And you know, the 3-star slot is one that historically has really kind of suffered for the Vortex clan, and so Predator LD is definitely going to fill a gap that was needed, but you may want to go with one of the other cards if you're looking for more pressure in the KO zone instead of just trying to win rounds and cause grief for your opponent. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I don't think I've gotten my credits yet, so I cannot go ahead and buy some packs right now. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching again, guys. I'll be back either next release or at the end of next month, and you remember, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you really liked it, then make sure to share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget to subscribe for more of my Urban Rivals videos. This is Xonia, and you've been in the zone.